It's time to step behind the scenes and take a closer look at the Owen Sound Attack. This is Bear Tracker Weekly. Here's your host, JC Coots.
Well, hello and welcome to episode number 1 of season 2 of the Bear Tracker Weekly podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for tuning in on our YouTube channel. Yes, another season for the Owen Sound Attack, and it started off on the right note with a win in London. This is something that hasn't happened since September 30th of 2022. In fact, when you account for regular season and playoff games, the Owen Sound Attack hadn't beaten the London Knights in 20 straight tries. But they did on Friday night, a come-from-behind overtime win. The Never Quit Bears, again, showing that they still have that mentality from last season as they get to overtime. And then new member of the Owen Sound Attack, Jacob Therrien, who came over in a trade from the North Bay Battalion, is the hero in overtime, scoring the winning goal as the Attack start the season off 1-0. As for those London Knights, they would go on the next night to lose to the Windsor Spitfires. They now start the season 0-2. So quite a bit of a change already in the Ontario Hockey League. That was expected, though, for the London Knights, with a lot of change from last season, having lost 12 players and a goaltender from the Memorial Cup winning team. There's been a lot of change, though, in Owen Sound since last season. 11 players that we called members of the Attack last year have now moved on. We will recap with a Where Are They Now feature coming up later on in the podcast. We'll take a look at where those Bears might be playing this season. And we'll also talk about some of the newcomers, some of the new faces you're going to see on the Owen Sound Attack team this year. And there are a lot of new faces. Another year of change, it would seem, but also a year where expectations are a little bit higher now going into this season, with a lot of returning faces who look to have big seasons in the OHL. We'll cover all of that off on this week's first episode of Season 2 of Bear Tracker Weekly. Our guests this week include that overtime hero, Jacob Therrien. We'll chat with him. Plus the Attack's first round, 5th overall pick in this year's OHL draft. His big brother is on the team. Max Delisle will join us this week. And we'll check in with head coach Scott Wray, get his thoughts on the game on Friday in London, plus a little bit of what he thinks about the team that's been put together this year. It's all coming up on episode 1 of the Bear Tracker Weekly podcast. Our first guest this week was the overtime hero for the Owen Sound Attack on Friday night in London, Jacob Therrien. Jacob comes over after a trade with the North Bay Battalion during the summer, and Jacob is a guy that has some familiarity with head coach Scott Wray. His style of play, as Attack fans saw it during the preseason, kind of perfectly gels with what the coaching staff is going for, and he was all over the ice in a good way on Friday night. He ended up getting knocked out of the game with a 10-minute misconduct, but came back just in time in overtime to be the hero. Here's my conversation Friday night after the game with Jacob Therrien. With Jacob Therrien, who is the overtime hero tonight for the Owen Sound Attack. First off, congratulations on the goal. You were playing like a guy possessed for most of the night tonight and came back into the game just at the right time to be the hero. What were your thoughts on that overtime goal?
I was pretty excited to get back out there, obviously, but I knew if I got the opportunity, I was going to try my best to capitalize on it. So I'm just lucky I got the chance, and I'm really happy to get the 2 points there.
It was pretty exciting to watch you during the preseason. Of course, coming over from the North Bay Battalion, it's a brand new team for you to adjust to. It seemed like, based on what I saw in the preseason, that you are a guy that's quick to jump up and defend your teammates, which kind of explains why you're on a line, at least tonight, with Pierce Bowie and Michael Deck, two of the young guys on the Owen Sound Attack. What's the role change for you from last season with North Bay now to this season? And what does the coaching staff talk to you about what they'd like to see from you?
Yeah, I think it's big for me this year to produce, playing with Boo and Decker. We have a really skilled line, and I like to stick up for my teammates. I don't really want to see them get pushed around, and I don't want to get pushed around, so I think we all have each other's back, and I think that really brings the group together, and we know we're going to score a lot of goals this year, and we just got to stick together and always have each other's back. So.
Nice. In coming to a new team, I'm sure probably you knew some of these guys already before you got here just from being in the league for a while, but is there anybody on the team that you've really kind of bonded with and you've really found some close friendships?
Yeah, I didn't really know too many guys. I work out with Bedsy in the summer, but I've bonded with all the guys. I've been super close to all the guys. I can hang out one-on-one with any guy on the team so far, so it's a really tight group, but me, Boo, and Carl, we like to hang out. Obviously, I'm billet brothers with Razor too, so it's been pretty good. But yeah, everyone's my best friend on this team, so it's unreal.
You've played, I know, in Owen Sound before, just as a member of different teams up to this point, but you've never suited up on the home side in the Bay Shore. I imagine there's a lot of similarities between North Bay and Owen Sound. They're both fairly small markets, both fairly passionate fan bases. What are you looking forward to most about playing at the Bay Shore this year?
Yeah, I think just getting in front of the fans. They got a pretty rowdy group there, so especially at a smaller barn. It's something I like, and I like playing in a small town, so when they get behind us, it helps us a lot, so I'm pretty pumped for that.
All right, well, welcome to the team. Congratulations on the big goal tonight to win the game, and looking forward to a lot of great things from you this year, Jacob.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, the offseason has proved to be another big season of change for the Owen Sound Attack. 11 players from last year's team are no longer members of the Attack. We knew going into training camp there was going to be lots of competition, especially with a new crop of young players arriving via the OHL draft. We just weren't sure who was going to win what spots on the team. Well, now we know, and let's take a quick look at where are they now. We'll run down the list of players that have moved on and players that are now coming in for the Owen Sound Attack, starting with those who've moved on. And the OA players, the overagers, who we knew were going to be moving on after the end of the season. No surprise there. Bruce McDonald and Alec Leonard are now in the NCAA. They had both signed with their respective teams. For Alec Leonard, that would be Bentley University. For Bruce McDonald, it was Robert Morris University. When the season ended in Owen Sound, we knew where they were headed. We did not know where Captain Landon Hookey was going to be going, and that answer came in the form of the Belleville Senators of the AHL, the farm team of the NHL's Ottawa Senators. Landon Hookey worked his butt off last season. I think all Attack fans can agree with that. And that hard work has paid off, getting him a job in Belleville. Going to be exciting to be able to watch Landon this season on FloHockey, if you do have a FloHockey package. We'll talk more about that later on in the podcast, because there's been a lot of questions about what is FloHockey and why doesn't the CHL app work anymore? We'll get to that in a little bit. But other players that have moved on, both import players, have left the Owen Sound Attack. That decision being made early in the offseason. Rafik Vorozhin, the Russian, has actually rejoined his Russian junior team, who he was with before he joined the Attack. So he's back in Russia. As for Max Delisle, the German import for the Attack, he did not go back home to Germany. In fact, he has stayed in Canada and is now with the Powell River Kings of the BCHL. So congratulations to Max for sticking around in this great country, even though he's not a big fan of the pizza here, but that's okay. Ben Cormier, maybe a bit of a surprise to move on for the Owen Sound Attack. He doesn't go far, though, stays in the OHL and signs with the Oshawa Generals. As for a few players who were released this summer, maybe a little surprising to see Declan Waddick and Antonio Tersini go. Just before the season started, we got news that Gabe Smith had also been released. A great stay-at-home defenseman on the blue line for the Attack last year, appearing in 64 games, scored his first and only OHL goal last year against the Steelheads, which was an exciting moment for Gabe Smith and for the Attack fans. But unfortunately, with a crowded blue line, Gabe Smith found himself as the odd man out. Also moving on are Ethan Kindry, a highly touted draft pick from last season. Ethan battled to get into the lineup most nights and was a good contributor for the Attack, but ultimately there were a lot of battles that took place for spots this season. Ethan Kindry has been reassigned. He heads to the OJHL, where he'll be a member of the Georgetown Raiders. And James Petrovsky, another key member of the blue line for the last couple seasons with the Attack. The big guy stays in the league, traded to the Peterborough Petes, and that's where he'll call home this season. Now, let's talk about the players who are coming into the Owen Sound Attack organization. We just talked to Jacob Therrien. He arrived from North Bay this season. Also, some players arriving with some OHL experience are Noah Nelson and Noah Roberts. Noah Roberts comes from the Sudbury Wolves organization. Yes, he is the son of former NHLer Gary Roberts, and already starting to make a big impression on the attack blue line. And then some new faces that come in. Max Delisle, the first-round pick, 5th overall in this year's draft, arrives with the second-round picks, Landon Jackman, who went number 41, and Nicholas Sikora, the hero that tied the game on the power play in London. He was drafted at 57th in the third round, I should say, for Nicholas Sikora. Blake Munnings was a second-round pick, number 28. He has made the team this year. Add in free agent John Banks, who's been looking really good on the blue line, at least in his debut with the Attack in London on Friday night. And then some players that we saw last season now becoming full-time members of the team. Michael Deck, Mason Roy, and Trenton Bennett are all members of the Owen Sound Attack now. So big changeover once again from last season. To the players that have all moved on, we'll miss you. Remember, you're always a member of the Owen Sound Attack no matter where you go. Obviously, you'll be remembered by this very passionate fan base for a long time, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck in your future careers and in your lives. And welcome to all the new faces and the returning faces who have won full-time jobs with the team. I know it's going to be an exciting season for you all. Now let's talk to one of those new faces, the 5th overall pick in this year's OHL draft. Here's my conversation with Max Delisle Friday night in London.
All right, with Max Delisle, the Attack's rookie sensation who was drafted in the first round this past year. Max, pretty good way to start off the OHL career with a win in London. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was great.
Now, it must be, first of all, it must be kind of exciting to know that you're on a team with your older brother, Tristan. Of course, this year you're drafted, and obviously the Delisle family has a lot of connection now in Owen Sound. What was it like, first of all, this summer, knowing that you were going to become a part of this team?
Yeah, well, I've always wanted to, Owen Sound is where I wanted to be from the start, and ever since I was drafted here, it was obviously great just training with my brother. And he was obviously teaching me what it's like to play in the OHL, so just preparing me and getting me better and challenging me.
Perfect. Now, training camp, you looked excellent during training camp with the Attack. How did it feel to go through that first OHL camp? Because there was a lot of competition this year to try to make this team. Nothing obviously is a guarantee, but you looked like you were having a lot of fun during camp.
Yeah, it was great. Obviously, just trying to work my hardest. Everyone's there, try to make the team, so just trying to work as hard as I can, try to make a good impression.
Now, getting into tonight's game, a great big come-from-behind win for the Attack, 3-2. Kind of picks up where the Attack left off last season as a team that never quits, always knows that they're still in a game no matter what. What's it like for you to be part of that, your first OHL game? Anything you noticed during your first game in the Ontario Hockey League?
Well, it was obviously great. The people, the fans, the team, and then obviously we all hate London, so just to come in here and collectively as a group come from behind, and ever since I came here, it's pretty obvious that we want to be a team that doesn't quit, and we showed it out there today, and it was great to come out to win.
Now, one of the things that I'm sure people will talk about was the power play here tonight. It clicked at the right time at the end of the game. 2 power play goals, including the winning goal. Looked like you got a little bit of time out on the power play here tonight as well. How did that feel for you?
Felt great, obviously, to get the opportunity, so just trying to make the best of it.
Now, looking at your new teammates, there are a lot of new faces on this team. 11 players have departed from last season to this season, which is a lot of change, but it still kind of looked tonight like you guys were starting to gel in a real good way.
Yeah, like all the new players, obviously super nice, super good players and people, so just the locker room's great, so obviously that connection off the ice translated to on the ice, and everyone's friends with everyone, so it just obviously translates to the ice, and us playing as one.
Now, you guys so far haven't even been on the ice at the Bay Shore since the renovations have been done. That's going to come next week. How excited are you to get on home ice? And actually, I guess it's going to be kind of new for everybody with all the renovations and the changes.
Yeah, like the rink looks great, obviously, so just excited to be back at the Bay Shore and just being able to practice there and, get started there.
Perfect. Well, congratulations. You got one game under the belt so far, 67 more to go. I'm sure it's going to be a fun season for you, Max. Best of luck the rest of the way for the Owen Sound Attack.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, one of the big changes that we found out this year in the Ontario Hockey League is there is a new place to watch OHL hockey, and that is on FloHockey. Now, there's been a lot of questions by people all around the Ontario Hockey League, by fans wanting to know, first of all, are the games still going to be on TV? And the answer to that is yes. No matter where you live, whether it's Sudbury or London or Owen Sound, you'll still be able to watch the games on TV on your local cable channel. So that's RogersTV in Owen Sound. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere. We'll still be bringing you the games this season. What FloHockey is essentially, it is a replacement for the CHL app. Now, you do have to pay to watch games on FloHockey. One of the complaints I've seen from fans is that you can't buy individual games as you could have done with the CHL app. But the membership is based on a monthly fee or a yearly fee. And if you take the yearly fee option, pretty much what you would have paid for the regular season and the playoff package, it works out to about the same. The big difference with FloHockey, though, is you get a lot of hockey, not just the OHL. You get all of the CHL. You get junior leagues like the GOJHL, which just became affiliated with the OHL as a development league. You also get the AHL, the American Hockey League. So yes, you can watch players who have moved on to the AHL, like, for example, Landon Hookey with the Belleville Senators. You can watch that on FloHockey. That's all included in the package that you'll have to buy just to watch the OHL. So you do get a lot of hockey and a lot of other sports as well. So the value is definitely there. I've only had one chance so far to watch FloHockey. I do like the idea that they have a multi-view tool that you can watch two games at once. At least I could through my smart TV app. So that's kind of exciting if you're trying to watch the Attack and say another of your favorite teams, or if we're in a playoff race, maybe you want to see how the other teams are doing. That's kind of a nice feature. But yes, it will take some time to get used to. It is a bit of a change, but change always eventually becomes a good thing. And we'll see how things go with FloHockey. But so far, I like what I see with FloHockey. That said, let's talk now to the head coach of the Owen Sound Attack. I had a chance to catch up with Scott Wray after the game on Friday night in London.
All right, Coach, welcome back. First win of the season in game number 1. It's got to feel a little extra sweet having it come here in London against the Knights.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things that when we saw the schedule come out and you check that box that you're excited to come here for their home opener. And, you know, they're a heck of a champion last year, and just watching their intro was pretty inspiring. So it's one of those things that you, as a group, we wanted to come in here and go away with the 2 points.
Staying with the game tonight, obviously with a lot of new faces on the team, it's going to take a while for things to click and to gel, and one of those areas probably will be the power play that gets some attention. It clicked at the right time tonight, though. It was late, but it came through with 2 goals to tie and win the game. But just based on what you saw tonight, all the little things that need a little bit of work, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I just think there's, it's the opening game jitters, and you got guys playing in situations that they haven't had in preseason, and the chemistry's not there yet. It takes time, but, we don't want to wait too long. So, like I said to our staff in there, like anytime you're over 20% on the power play is a good day, and we ended up 2 for 8, so you're over 20%. So that's a big win for us, and like you said, like it came on the power play.
It looked like there was going to be a lot of battles at training camp to win spots on this team, and there certainly were. There had to be some tough decisions made, but with some of the new guys coming in, Jacob Therrien, who was the hero here tonight, a guy like Noah Roberts as well, it seems like these guys kind of play perfectly into what you started here last year, where it's hard work, it's a blue-collar ethic, it's accountability. Just tell me about some of the new pieces on the team this year and how you like the way that they blend in with everyone else.
Well, I think Dale DeGray went out and focused on a select group that will play that way, and he knows the style that I'd like to play. And bringing Jacob in, he's got an engine, and he's also got a short fuse. So plays hard. He drew 2 penalties within the first 10 minutes of the game, and that's his game. If he's not bleeding or sore or hurt after a period or two, he's not doing his job. So it was nice to see him get rewarded at the end of the game there, and he's an exceptional talent. Like he's a very good hockey player. He could possibly score 40 goals this year. So he just has to stay out of the box to do it. And then as for Noah, we brought in Robbie because we know what type of grit he brings, and he's an in-your-face type defenseman, and he's a great teammate. I've been able to watch him grow for the last 5 years, being in the East and having ties with the Bulldog organization. And that's another reason why we brought in Noah Nelson. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's an excellent killer. He's one of the best at this level, and it was nice to see them get rewarded tonight.
With a lot of new faces, there's going to be a lot of firsts this season. Nicholas Sikora gets his first goal coming on the power play. Will he be a guy that maybe potentially stays part of power play units moving forward based on that success? And what were your thoughts on his first game in the league?
I thought, he, just like everybody, a little nerves. It's probably the biggest crowd he's played in front of. But when he got his feet going and started playing his way, he was successful. But yes, he's one of those guys we targeted to bring in here, and he's a power play type guy, and he's going to be a focal point on one of the units.
One of the, I guess, good problems to have is you've got 3 really good goalies, and we got to see a great performance tonight from Trenton Bennett, 45 saves. Your thoughts on Trenton, and how are you guys going to figure out who's going to play on what night based on what you saw tonight?
Well, that's Dale's job. That's not my job. But, we have the fortune of having 3 amazing goalies and 3 amazing kids as goalies. So, there's no beating around the bush. It is Carter's net, but while they're gone, Benny's going to take the reins, and he showed how exceptional he is today. He's calm. He slows it down when you need him to. He doesn't keep plays alive. Instead of, he smothers it. He'll wait for that extra draw, and he's not afraid to do that, which is, great for a coach because when he's in there, he's very calming for us.
You guys haven't had, I don't think as of this point, a chance to actually get on the newly renovated ice at the Bay Shore. But what does that changeover do? I mean, Shallow Lake was great. It was a good training camp, but obviously different facilities. Do you see it being a little easier for the guys once they get on proper home ice? Yeah,
it's just different, right? We went from Shallow Lake to the YMCA, and then now we're back at the Bay Shore come Monday, and like I was saying in an interview before this, like the guys get to work on little extra things after practice so that they're not traveling back and forth, and it's like your playground in the backyard, right? Like you go from the dressing room to the rink and the rink to the gym, and it's all there. So it's a one-stop shop. So we're really excited to get on the ice at the Bay Shore. They've done an exceptional job. It looks phenomenal. The city of Owen Sound, for it to even stay on time for all the work they did an amazing job.
power rankings came out, and I know this was a little bit of billboard material for you guys last year with a lot of the experts around the OHL picking the Attack to finish last. This year the rankings are 16th. Again, probably not quite where the Attack should be suited, but what were the thoughts on that, and is that up on the billboard right now in the locker room?
Yeah, and we didn't really focus on that too much. With the group we have coming in, we're really focused on ourselves. I don't know who picks those. It could be anybody. So really, unless they know every individual on every team, then I'm not going to really, I'm just going to take it for what it's worth. It's a piece of paper, and we're going to run with it.
You got a new captain this year. David Bidkowski gets the C for the Attack. Pierce Bowie comes into the leadership group as well. He'll wear an A, and I believe Noah Nelson is the other, if I'm not mistaken. Just thoughts on that group of players. Obviously, Carter George will still be a big point, or a big vocal point in the dressing room too.
Yeah, so David is our captain. We'll probably announce it next week and do a little unveiling, but we have Pierce Bowie as an assistant, Jacob Therrien as an assistant, and then with Noah, he had the A on today just because it's his hometown and he's an overage and he deserves it. We're going to float that third one around and see who earns it by the end of the month and go from there. But, you know, we did a little team building exercise, so to speak, and, you know, Bedsy was unanimously chosen by his peers, and so was Jacob Therrien and Bowie, and they were actually the ones that Carter and David spoke really high of when we were going through the process, so it worked out. So now we're just we're going to see how that third one goes.
All right, Coach. Well, congratulations. First game, first win of the season. Glad to have you boys back at the rink.
Yeah, it's exciting. Rogers just told me it's the first time they've won here ever. So with him in the lineup, and I think he's been here 4 years. So it's this is his fourth season. So, you know, a win's a win. And like I told the kids, like it doesn't matter how it happens. Any win in this league is hard to get. And last year we showed it. Like we had to scratch and claw to get in by a point. And like these points are massive.
Well, thanks, Coach. We'll see you in Owen Sound for the home opener on Saturday the 27th.
All right, thank you.
Well, we've talked a lot about change on this episode of the Bear Tracker Weekly podcast as we enter season number 2, and there are some more changes that we need to tell you about. Some changes closer to home to our RogersTV broadcast crew. First of all, you might have heard the news this summer that Mark Perry, our longtime producer and longtime member of the Rogers family in Owen Sound, has retired after more than 30 years producing local television. We have been told by Mark that we will likely still see him around the Bay Shore in another capacity, maybe running a camera, maybe doing who knows what. But we're very excited that we'll still have Mark as part of our broadcasts as he now gets to enjoy a very well-earned retirement. So that's one big change to our crew this season. Another change, we've lost a member of our crew. Adrian Musso is moving on. Adrian has been on the podcast, quite a bit, actually, as a member of our Media Room Roundtable. I know that he's mentioned it on the podcast that Adrian's day job, what he does for a living, is teaching. And Adrian, who just got married this summer, congratulations, he had the opportunity to, I believe, get a job at his old high school, now as a teacher down in the Windsor area. So Adrian is moving on in his career, and we wish him nothing but the best. We are going to miss him here on the podcast and on the Bay Shore, but not too much on the podcast, actually, because Adrian did reach out to me and said he would still love to be a part of the show. In fact, he had a great idea for an ongoing segment, which we are still working on and will hopefully have coming very, very soon. We were supposed to connect this week. Unfortunately, the week got away from me, so apologies, Adrian. I know you're probably listening, but we will connect and we will bring this segment to you because I know that you are very well loved and respected by all of our Attack fans and by those who watched you and Mark together, bringing us the games, every home game on Rogers TV. So Adrian Musso, even though he is now far away, well, I guess not that far down to the Windsor area, but now that he's no longer in the area, he'll still be a part of this show. And so we'll be hearing from Adrian soon on this podcast. With that change, that means that I will be moving from ice level up into Adrian's spot next to Mark McKelvey in the broadcast booth. So very excited. These are big shoes to fill. In fact, as soon as I heard the news that Adrian was moving on, I'm like, dang, I really liked Adrian's thought and his views on what he saw as a color commentator. So it's definitely big shoes to fill, but I am looking forward to the challenge and looking forward to the home opener with Mark coming up on Saturday night. And that means someone's got to take over my place, and I was back and forth between the booth and ice level a lot last year, but the guy that filled in for me and did a tremendous job was Spencer Byers. And so Spencer will now be the new host of the weekly, or I guess the more than weekly, Owen Sound Attack broadcast on Rogers TV. So congratulations, Spencer. He's been working so hard. In fact, this summer he was named the Volunteer of the Year for Rogers TV. He's been working that hard behind the scenes, on camera, everywhere. In fact, he was part of virtually every Attack home game last year for all the broadcasts. Whether you saw him on TV or not, he was usually behind the scenes running audio, doing graphics, so he's always been a part of the broadcast, and now he'll be on your screen for every home game. So congratulations to everybody. Best of luck to everybody as they've chosen to move, who are moving on and who are staying. With that said, though, we have to look forward to what's going to be a busy week for the Owen Sound Attack. They are headed to Barrie on Thursday to take on the Colts. Second road game of the season for the Attack. And then they come back home to the newly renovated Bayshore. Things looking pretty good at the Bayshore. In fact, the Attack will hit the ice on Monday for the first time since the renovations have taken place. That ice should feel a little different under their feet because that was part of those renovation plans, was making sure that the ice quality was going to be much, much better moving forward. The boards are all brand new this year, which unfortunately might mean the loss of the Bayshore bounce, but it will mean likely less injuries to the players as there'll be a little bit more give in the glass this year. Plus, a lot better photos this year since there will be special holes for the photographers, for Allie and for Sam to use this season. So it's going to make their jobs a lot easier to help take amazing pictures of your Owen Sound Attack. So a lot to look forward to for the home opener coming up on Saturday night against the Kitchener Rangers. And then we're right back at it Sunday afternoon, a 2:00 game against the Barrie Colts. Again, the highway rivalry is firing up early this season. If you want to get tickets to either of those games, you can go to attackhockey.com. That is going to wrap it up for episode 1 of season 2 of Bear Tracker Weekly. Remember to like and subscribe, leave reviews on the podcast. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch the video version of this podcast on YouTube. Look for Bear Tracker Weekly, and on Rogers TV as well in Owen Sound. Thank you for joining us again this week. We look forward to a brand new season. It should be an exciting one for the Owen Sound Attack. I'll talk to you again soon. Cheers.
The Bear Tracker podcast is produced in association with Blackburn Media from the CKNX studios in Wingham, Ontario. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe at Bear Tracker Pod on social media and wherever you get your podcasts.